TIFU, by eating cat food for 2 months. This happened several years ago when I first moved to Japan. My Japanese skills were terrible, so I used Google Translate a lot while shopping. Anyway, I was looking for a quick snack and I saw a small bag that looked like rice crackers. It had a picture of cheese and fish on it, so I thought it was just a unique Japanese flavor. I used picture translate, and it said something like a healthy cheese. Nothing about a cat at all, well nothing that translated that is. So I bought it and loved it. I went back a few days later and bought 2 more packs. I ate 1 or 2 packs a week. Then one day my Japanese friend came over to watch a movie and I offered her a snack. She looked at the package and said, "Do you have a cat?" I said I didn't. She began to explain that my favorite snack was meant for cats. I was surprised. I told her that they were so delicious. She began laughing so hard, but she tried them and agreed that they tasted pretty good, but told me I could get sick if I kept eating them. Did I stop eating them? No, not right away, until I found a human alternative. For the life of me I couldn't remember the snack. But this is a box of baby snacks. And the box looked very similar. Like this. TL. Drive. I misread Japanese and snacked on cat treats for almost 2 months. OMG. Thank you all for the upvotes and to judging me too harshly. The story still makes me laugh, lol. Love that you kept eating them after being informed that they were cat food. That's commitment. So what treat are you eating, meow? Before I read your post I thought maybe you were eating tinned cat food. Lol. That picture is definitely deceptive though. It looks a lot like a normal people snack. Don't feel bad though. My grandpa ate dog treats for a solid week because they looked like those combo snacks and he got confused. My dad did something similar, but it was with dog treats. In the large bags of dog food we buy there would sometimes be free samples, and one time there was a small pack of pepperoni sticks. I was the one that found it and put it on counter. Shortly after I noticed it was open and he was telling me how he tried the new Slim Jims and they weren't very good. I almost died laughing. That happened at least 15 years ago and we still laugh about it. Ah yes, finally a TIFU not about sex. This is awesome and I too would like to try it out. Your friend is correct. If you eat too many you could start feeling unwell. Did you notice any particular sensitivity to catnip or urges to chase bright red dots? She looked at the package and said, "Do you have a cat?" I can't think of any situation where this is not bad. Was it something like this? In that case, it's meant to be eaten by both the pet and pet owner. Couldn't find a cat version, though. Charlie Kelly approves. Are you for real? Just saw the link to the Lazada site you attached. As a native Japanese speaker. Damn, that's confusing, haha. You're right. It looks like regular fish crackers. Going by Japan's reputation though, I wouldn't be surprised if this is meant for both the cat and the owner. Car food has taurine in it, the stimulant in Red Bull, because it's an essential amino acid that cats do not naturally produce and can only be found in animal meat. This is also why you cannot have a vegetarian/vegan cat. It will slowly die from taurine insufficiency. So at best, eating cat food will give you a buzz. At worst it'll make you really sick as humans can produce it on their own. This just reminds me of the episode of the 3D Garfield show, where Garfield ate dog food and slowly transformed into a dog monster or something like that. I don't remember. The Belcher girls and Gene all know how you feel. Man. I work in the US pet food manufacturing industry. I'm sorry. Okay, here's a little story from my teenage years. Before I became old and grumpy and preferred to be left alone a long time ago, I was a teenager and I actually had friends and invited them to party at my place. Especially when the parents were away for the weekend. At this point, my daughter would probably stop believing me, but so what? Once myself and my sister pulled our friends, and we had a great, loud all-night party. I think we were using the opportunity that the neighbors were also gone. At some point, these drunken friends were trying to make some even more drunk guy eat cat food by presenting it on a plate, decorated with some parsley or so. And admittedly that stuff looked and smelled quite nice really. But that guy wasn't quite drunk enough, and so they just left it on the kitchen counter and went on to do some other bad things. Apparently singing loudly from the balcony was a thing. However, when I came back to the kitchen, I saw somebody else had taken the plate and was happily shoveling the nicely decorated cat food into his mouth. I didn't dare to tell him, and he seemed to enjoy it. So everyone's happy, right? I mean, the cat okay? The cat wasn't happy. My favorite part is that last line. Did I stop eating them? No, not right away. Absolute mad laddle ass. Cat food is a delicacy in District 9. It was pretty cool of your friend to try them too, and make it a lot less embarrassing for you. Break me off a piece of that fancy feast. Are you related to the Belchers? Don't feel too bad. The reason I chose Almo cat food for my cat is that the lady at the pet store that sold me on the brand told me that when she was younger, she made Almo sandwiches for her kid brother as a prank, and he thought it was delicious. I used to eat those chocolate buttons for dogs you get at pet stores. They are bland and not sweet, but otherwise a nice snack. What a catastrophe. So, what's the human alternative you found? I heard human flesh is very nourishing, at least more so than cats, but I couldn't find any human-based snacks lately. When I was a kid I tried fish food flakes because of a dare and got hooked on it immediately. Even though it's comprised of grinded worms and insects, fish flakes taste very similar to veggie straws, which are bomb. If you handed me some RN I'd down the whole container. Okay, Frank Reynolds. Cat food and dog food follow strict human quality standards, so it won't make you sick and might be healthier than most snacks in the market. You'll be fine with this snack, as long as you are not eating it from the pet's bowl. I laughed so hard reading this that I nearly choked on my milk bones. This reminds me of that Bob's Burgers episode. This reminds me of the year I baked homemade dog treats as Christmas gifts for my dog-owning friends. I even bought a bone-shaped cookie cutter specifically for this project. I baked them up and left them to cool, and then left to buy gift bags to put them in, but not before counting out how many I had, so that I knew how many I could fit into each bag. I got home with the bags and started packing up the treats. But when I got to the last bag, I was short by about 5 or 6. As I stood there, wondering how bad I really was at math, my dad casually called out from the couch, where he and my mom were watching the Korean news. By the way, those cookies you made weren't very good. So bland. I about died laughing. There was nothing gross in them, but they were a weird combination of turkey stock and peanut butter that only a dog could love. What gets me is, if they were so bad, why did they eat so many? They were a huge hit with all their canine recipients, though. Fact. Dog and cat food are inspected to be suitable for human consumption in case of emergencies, e.g. nuclear fallout. Not eating, but my dad had business in Japan about 20 years ago and stayed with a family friend who let him use their toiletries after a baggage mix-up. My dad, for the record, speaks zero Japanese and has a general aversion to heavily scented products. So when presented with a Japanese family's assortment of shampoos, he sniffed them all and picked the least smelly. After 4 days of staying with his friend, she asked which shampoo he was using, since his hair was shinier than it usually was, and she didn't think any of her shampoos would cause that dramatic of a change. My dad fetched the bottle, and she burst out, "Lo, I've been using the dog shampoo twice daily for a soft, silky shine with bonus flea and tick prevention." He still gets teased about it to this day when they visit. Friend's house had jerky sticks in the fridge. We used to snack on them till his mom said something about not giving the dog so many treats and was holding the package. There wasn't a photo of a dog to anything on the package. I just remember it had a lot of red on the package. The treats looked like Slim Jims. Knew a family on my street as a kid where the kids actually were given dog biscuits as treats. The same ones their dog ate. I'm baffled as I think back to it, but there you go. They ate dog biscuits. Even as a 5-year-old I found it very strange. Pretty unpalatable as an idea, and so declined when offered one. Is this common anywhere? Whoa, this totally reminded me of that Bob's Burgers episode where Tina, Jean, and Linda were obsessed with eating cat food. My uncle did something similar, but with the dog treats. He was on the ship where he works, and he did not like the food. He once was in Australia in a dog shop for something that he needed, casually tried a few that were open, and he liked one kind. He bought a whole bag and ate it, a few kilograms. He liked it very much. He went back and got more. Your story is adorable. Thank you so much for sharing. You're a cat now. I had a similar experience, but instead of cat food, it was lube. No, I didn't eat the lube. I had just come from summiting Mount Fuji with an extremely nasty sunburn, so I was looking for something to soothe my burn. Ended up picking up a tube that said aloe on it and didn't find out later until a friend asked why I was putting lube on my face and neck. Should we be worried about your human alternative snacks? Japan police might have to look into those missing persons cases a little more closely from now. I've always wondered what cat treats taste like. May have to try one someday. To be fair, a cat snack in Japan might not even be exotic compared to some of their human snacks, like squid on a stick. I was in Poland and this old lady was selling these skinny badger looking things in the main square. I bought one because they were only €1. I ate it and it was pretty meh, but I thought, oh well, it's a cheap snack. Found out shortly after that they bake and sell these things, so tourists buy them to feed the pigeons. I didn't eat anymore after that. I thought the dog treats I ate when I was a kid were animal looked and tasted like M2. Then when I got older I would purposely eat the Scooby-Doo dog treats that were for R2 were absolutely terrible. Only girls do this stuff. It's like that Bob's Burgers episode. I did something similar with rabbit food and it actually got me in big trouble. In high school, my buddy who was a fitness nut told me that he snacks on rabbit food. It's full of veggies and protein, just dried out into pebbles. We were dumb teenagers. I tried it and it kinda grew on me. I was sneaking rabbit food from my locker between classes. Then I kept it up in college. Whenever I had to pull an all-nighter studying, I would chow down on that power food rabbit food. That was addicting. But here's where the trouble started. One day I was at the pet store buying more rabbit food when an employee walked up to me and asked, "Oh, you've got rabbits?" I kinda ignored him. He got closer and laid it out. "Look, I see you in here buying bags upon bags of rabbit food. You have to have a dozen rabbits at home. And I've got a dog fight this weekend. Apparently they throw rabbits in with the dogs to get them fighting." "Ips no," I said and walked away. The next week, I went back to the same store and there were cops out front. They were hauling that same employee away. Apparently he got busted for dog fighting. We locked eyes as he was taken away. It was so creepy. Fast forward a couple of days and the cops come knocking on my door. I figured they wanted to interview me about what the pet store employee told me, so I let them in first mistake. The cops said that the guy said that I was in on it. He told them that I supply the rabbits for his dog fighting. Of course I denied it, but then the cops looked around. I had tons of empty bags of rabbit food, but no rabbits. I told the cops that I eat it. They didn't believe me. I sat in jail for 2 months before the end of my trial, and I was set free. My Mill helped herself to a dog jerky treat off our kitchen counter. She was eating it with a glass of milk. My wife only realized what her mother was eating after the jerky treat was half gone. I still tease her about it. Didn't hurt her any, as far as we can tell. Dod feel bad me and my buddy got stoned one day and got the munches. We saw what thought were a bag of oyster crackers on the kitchen table and we started munching on them. His GF comes walking in and started laughing her ass off when she saw us. We didn't know why she was laughing, but she laughed even harder when I ate another cracker. She said, "You guys might want to read the label on the bag." Turns out they were dog biscuits. Jokes on her, we kept eating them because they were actually good. My ex-husband tried some yogurt-based dog treats we had once and said they tasted like cookie dough. In smallish quantities, there'll be much, and you'll start sprouting a luscious furry coat. Easy to eat snack for sense of achievement. Apostrophe. Top-notch translation effort. I brought a bottle of horseradish thinking it was mayo when I was in awful. This comment section is like a turf war between It's Always Sunny and Bob's Burgers. If you work at a pet store, sometimes the food reps will eat the pet food in front of you to prove it's good or something. Specifically the dudes that sell Merrick branded stuff. I got on guy to eat an entire can of TidderCast wet dog food, a handful of different treats and a greenie to finish it off. r/help me find. I'm sorry, I didn't read the post because as soon as I read the title I wondered if you were Charlie Kelly. If you eat too much, you become a cat Gerald. I'd eat those baby crackers for sure. Was it not in a section of the shop with all the other cat food? This happened with my dad and guinea pig food. Except he has no excuses. There were a couple of guinea pigs on the bag, and it was in plain English. This was several years ago, and we poke fun at him to this day.